Here's the goal that I'm going to end this week with. A couple things. I'm making sure that I can say as much as I can, just in case things turn out very badly. I want people to know what's been going on and who directly has been doing what for a long time, including these places that I'm going to, the Minnesota Post Board, the Department of Human Rights of Minnesota, the Attorney General's office, and one other place that I'm not mentioning quite yet, that I was told to by the Post Board to also submit a form to. I am overwhelmed by this whole experience. I have said multiple times that it is beyond. I can explain, show all kinds of stuff. I would be easily classified as a vulnerable adult. And have preyed upon me. But here's the goal. See, I know that what looks like now is of all the parties, they just want to collect the pieces of me being murdered. So then I started to give as much evidence as I could, since I knew that they weren't going to do anything, and I don't have lawyer money. Then let's at least submit enough information to the police department so that if and when these second hate group particularly, but there's two of them tied together, I have tried to explain that some to the police department. I have submitted 2 of 3 sections, because one group of people, another group of people, and another group of people, and the last one kind of ties all of these people together. The part of not tying all of these people together, the first and the second hate group, as I have classified them, I have tried to give enough information so that there can be some sort of a paper trail, so at least they might, by some little bit, try to convict the person who kills me. And then, of course, they can just play, oh, well, we didn't know, like they got shit in their mouth. Like you got shit in your mouth. All of these people. Oh, and they're very good. They're going to be very good at it. That wasn't until this week. And that's why I'm making all these posts, because I don't want there to be any question about what's been going on. No narrative switch that they're going to be pulling or not even explored, because, again, I don't talk to too many people. That's pretty customary for about 3 decades of me living in this house. Full stop. So for someone to say that suddenly I've been trying to talk to them and then filed this in legal paperwork in a pedophile kind of gross way, somebody that I literally don't talk to, nobody. Haven't. Suddenly now it's a switch up, and suddenly they think I'm like, really? Weird. Especially when there have been an engagement where someone stopped right in front of me with their dog. I didn't say one word to that person. So if I'm supposed to be going out and wanting to talk to people, why wouldn't I have done it then? And do you know why I don't talk to people in this town, especially kids? Is because of people like you, like my mother. They listened to my whole life saying about people that are gay. I've been hearing the same gross, weird shit. But, of course, living in San Francisco and all of these places, I've not seen what they make the accusations. But you know where has? The one place that is required to carry pedophile insurance. Your churches. But you guys I know what you say. I know how disgusting you are. I know how awful you white supremacists are. I know how gross and dirty your mind is. I know how overly sexualizing you do of the LGBTQI. It's quite gross, actually. Because you look at them as a sexual king. No, darling. We're not your sex toy. See, that's the problem with the acceptance of these extremist Republicans. You see us as a sex toy. You don't see us as humans that are just not stupid and just inbred like you. They can only think of one way life is acceptable and no other is because, you're simple, dumb, knuckle draggers. I'm mad because you've brought me here. Every single one of you. You know what you've done, what you've said, what you participated in. Some of which physical. Done. I'm done. So I've been making sure that you don't get to play no games in the worst case scenario and pretend, play this bullshit game, which you've all been playing. All of you. A public school system upon which some of those board members are people I went to school in my very class when I was a kid. Some of you same fucking people. You've been doing this same bullshit, hate, since I was a kid here in this school, when you used to be racist fucks. You're no different. You're still no different. You're still dirty, nasty, narrow-minded, pathetic little people. But now you've proven it to be a next level. Why on earth would I want to participate in anything you guys do anymore? You are hate mongers. Hate mongers. Awful. There's some of you that know I've won a lawsuit against you for your action. Of course, I can't say anything but there was in this community. You've lost one lawsuit against me. And I know some of you understand that if this goes to court, you know what's going to happen. Just really, let's stick with the example of the school, since we're started there. What do you think? What do you think the rationale of saying to people who enroll their kids newly in school to make sure that you don't talk to me, huh? Really? Why would that be? Is it because of slander? Because you want to tell a alternative version to a very horrific 2011 event? And there are so many of you still today slandering that narrative in a very dark way. And it does seem to appear the top of the tornado of this down. That seems to be possibly a very good reason to why you're doing what you're doing or not doing now. And I am going to be placing that front and center stage in these documents. Officially filing phone calls I'm waiting for return. All of you. And as I'm sitting here thinking about this now, I think we know where this has to go. Because if for some reason there is some way, and I'm not even going to, well, let's just say it this way. Let's say because, 7 months, the sheriff's department drugged me out, me requesting information so I could serve a person papers, and said, had a hiring problem, so he just didn't get around to it. Really, the threatening of murder just wasn't enough for him to give rise. And it wasn't that he finally gave it to me in 7 months. It's that I had to say, hey, still wait, trying to get that. I can't. But in the meantime, I file another paper of being assaulted. Albeit it's a small part, but by definition, I was assaulted the night that a 911 operator hung up on me 3 times. And nothing. And the same people who did nothing, when somebody lit a fire on my porch about a foot from a whole giant stack of wood from floor to ceiling of the plaster lath on an old house that makes it look like rib cages, all that little tiny kindling wood. Massive stack of it because I was recycling it. I still have it all, and it's now in metal barrels. Lit right next to that by my front door. And what I would later find out is tied to the same family who threatened to shoot me and kill me. Same family. And then I started to understand all the years of all the stuff that was happening to my vehicle. There was only one other variable that changed in my neighborhood at that time. Because of living in this house for 30 years, there was some changes that happened. And it was, well, at that point, it had been going on for about 8 years. And the only variance that came into that equation was a particular girl. And though I couldn't prove it, and there was evidence that some things were changed, it wasn't the kind of thing a girl would do. So I was confounded, but there were 2 changes. And I only seen it as one until I identified the person who lit the fire and started tying things together and realizing the person who lit the fire. So we are talking about 2 different households, essentially, of the fire night. There was a third that I didn't even have on my radar as even being a possibility of being aside until recently, this summer, when I started to really tie everybody together and realize that the third person the night that my house was nearly lit on fire has been being fed by one of the most primary people in his life, has been tied to the first hate group for, it looks like, several decades, 30 some years, being fed direct slander. And I know that this is slander being fed because the people in that equation have made all kinds of slander comments all over the internet that I have proof of. Videos that they made of. Screenshots of them reaching out to people who had millions of followers. Trying to get with, notwithstanding me being murdered. These people are all tied together. I didn't know any of this until after Juneteenth of Gay Pride Month. Didn't know any, I didn't have the foggiest idea that all this was tied together. And because of being stressed out, it was when I had to defend what's going on and looking at, trying to get some, action going, all this that got denied. It was looking at the information, and I started seeing the little circles of these people from different households acting in a sort of coming on my social medias and saying stuff all about the same time, or coming to my house, and I was starting to see where there's a little bit of correlation that kind of shows they're working together. But I didn't see it because I didn't have all the evidence right down in front of me, and started looking at the dates and started realizing there was a pattern happening here. So when I'm to the point where I'm at now, and you see and you want to point fingers like some sort of victim blaming, you better start thinking a little harder, baby. And let's just finalize on this one thing. I've been working on this project for 34 years to literally earn the Nobel Peace Prize for Humanity. I've been collecting so much information, so it's very normal for me to just add more stuff. Everything I say in here, you know that I can prove it. You know that I have it. I have shown it on other Facebooks and stuff for years. They know that I have the information, that they are doing exactly like I said. And these people who don't want to do nothing, you're going to answer to some very big bosses. Because I can bring an argument about what's been going on, but you just